This week I am back with MacKenzie Green, and we're going to talk all things 2026
Yeah.
bookish, or just all things books.
Yeah,
We talk about a little bit of
we
everything.
do. Well, I
Hmm.
mean, I think what I told you, so context for the listeners, Kate and I hang out before we record, but
Yeah.
but one of the things I was saying to you that I really loved last year was like, that was the first year as a reader that I
Mm,
consciously had like pre-ordered 2025 releases and
yeah.
tried to keep up with like the Booker Prize nominees, like all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's like the next level of bookishness is when you go from just
Yes.
reading to now you're like, oh, it's like the way as a film person that you're like, oh, Paul Thomas Anderson has a movie coming out in 2 years, or like, oh, Chris Nolan has a movie coming out. I have to make
Yeah.
sure I'm like, I go through the canon of his work, like all this stuff. And so, like, this is definitely a year where I feel like I have a lot of new releases I'm like anticipating for the first time in a long time and actively keeping up with like what came out today. Like, oh, it's Tuesday, it's pub day. Like,
Yes.
what is hitting the bookshelves? So I'm like, I'm most excited for 2026 because I feel like now I'm becoming a really nerdy reader where,
Yes.
award season starts and I'm like, I have opinions. I have opinions.
Totally.
Yeah.
I had a similar moment basically the first year or the year after I started podcasting. It was the same
Yeah.
thing where like I still read what would be considered a lot,
Yep.
like 40 to 50 books a year, but I
Same.
was not, similar to everything you just said. I didn't realize like every Tuesday
Yeah.
tons of books come out.
I
Like,
had no clue.
yeah, and I
This was
didn't
like
know that.
such news to me the first time.
Yeah. And in certain genres, and what I think I've heard is like romance and thrillers,
Yeah.
probably a decent amount of genre fiction, but I know with
Yeah.
literary it's not expected. But romance and thrillers, you kind of are expected to put one out every year
Yeah.
once you get your first one out there. So then there's that. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
there
Well,
sometimes
because
I
then all of
love
a
this
sudden
many
it's like,
authors.
and I think that's the fun part about reading is like it just doesn't stop. It's like
Never.
hundreds of books come out a
Mm-hmm.
year or hundreds of books come out a month. Then it's like
Yes.
tens of thousands a year. And it's like, so even if in a perfect world, I read every single book that is potentially going to be longlisted for the Booker Prize, there
Mm-hmm.
are still
Yes.
categorically so many books I know absolutely nothing about. And I think that
Right.
is the most fun part is like to me being a reader is the embodiment of keeping your shore of ignorance in sight at
Mm-hmm.
all times. Because
Yes.
even like we're going to talk about her release, but it's like I'm diving into Heather Ann Thompson's first book,
Mm-hmm.
Blood in the Water, and I'm like, "Oh, even when I finish this giant tome about a prison uprising
Right.
in the 70s. I now have hundreds of pages from her to then follow
Yes.
up about a conflict in New York. And the crazy part that I know for myself as a reader is once I finish reading like the Attica Prison book, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be like, well, I want to learn about this thing. It's like what happened when I
Mm-hmm.
read Gods of New York. Is that
Yes.
immediately I was like, well, I want to learn more about this. Is there a book on
Mm-hmm.
Spike Lee, the making of Do the Right Thing? Because even this little snippet I got, I want more. So yeah, I'm very much like, I think I'm very embarrassed by the fact that I fall more and more in love with books and bookishness
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
to a point that I'm like, this is a hobby I will have forever.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, wow, it can get so nerdy because like you said, you can get into
It
like, oh, are
just
you
can.
a romance person? Are you a nonfiction? And then if you're like us, you're like, I read everything.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nonfiction especially, and obviously we've talked about like fiction can make you aware of stuff too,
Yeah.
but nonfiction especially, I'm like, there are so many things. Because I think what's endearing to me lately is that nonfiction writers, I'm thinking about this in the sense that like I just got an audiobook that was on sale
Yeah.
that's all about parking and the way that
Right.
parking shapes
This is
communities.
what I'm saying.
So
It's
like
those
someone got
books.
so hyper fixated on
Yes.
parking that they
Yeah.
got excited and now I'm excited
I think it's
about
also that
parking.
neurodivergent, like
It
seeing somebody else.
is.
Cause it's like when so people know my imaginary boyfriend, Adam Higginbotham, who wrote the book Challenger, that I
Mm-hmm.
love so deeply in
Yeah.
every fiber of my being in the most embarrassing way possible. But to your point about hyperfixation,
Yes.
I am like, I really, because I think it's something crazy where right now it's like all his books focus on the same year. It's like the Chernobyl disaster, the Challenger
Mm,
explosion, like they all happen and I'm just like the idea that he like again, my little ND brain goes,
yeah.
he woke up one day and was like, I'm going to talk about the Challenger explosion, and then just became so hyper fixated,
Yes.
interviewed people over years,
Yeah.
created this beautiful piece of narrative nonfiction that feels like you're reading a movie script, even though it is
Right.
real life. And it is just so funny to me every
Yeah.
time. Yeah, when you really drill into it and you're like, oh, this little weirdo got like
Yes.
so into this that he could, like you said, it's like you got so obsessed with parking that you're like, I'm gonna write a book about parking
Like,
spaces.
this changes
Yeah,
everything.
this is everything. Like one of the books I'm like in stupid books, it's a backlist, but it's that book about refrigeration.
Oh.
And it's like how basically like the refrigerator changed the world, like flattened the world. Because in my desire this year, especially to learn more about like, I think it's post reading Frankenstein that I'm like, I want
Mm-hmm.
to learn more about AI. I want to learn, actually, lies. It was the Challenger book. Everything leads back to Adam Higginbotham for me, is because they end the book with the Feynman Commission, where he's
Okay.
talking about this idea of like, let this commission be an example of the hubris of men is dangerous.
Yes.
Couple that with my knowledge when Chris Nolan was like, I want people to understand that this is a horror movie. This is a
Mm-hmm.
cautionary tale about technology in the hands of the wrong people, that even the most well-meaning person can have their innovation taken and it could destroy the
Mm-hmm.
world. So like here we are living in this enshittification, another book on my TBR, of like the
Same.
world via AI. And I am so obsessed right now with just books about single inventions that
Mm.
were meant to like do great things that are then
Yeah.
being used in like harmful ways. And so I think like the refrigeration book kind of does that, where it's like, hey, it was this great thing that helped make food more accessible and like opened up, food for other people, but like the environmental impact of it, like how much we use it, how ubiquitous it's become. It's like
Oh.
it's no longer being used as a tool, like it's being, it's a status symbol, it's this. And so like it's those kind of weird books in
Is
2025
this
of 20.
Frostbite?
Yes, Frostbite.
Okay. Okay.
It's
I
like
had to find it.
I said 2025, it's 2026. I don't know where we are in space and time, but it's like I want to engage with more books like that this year,
Yes.
where it's like it's these. I mean, again, this from the Heather Ann Thompson one that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just these very specific drill down. I'm just fascinated because we're living in history right now. So it's
Yes.
kind of like I think my brain is just, again, it's that ND part of me. I think my brain
Yes.
is like, I want to understand not just the history, but how we talk about history, because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to
Yes.
be on us to be the care. Like we will in our lifetime see people we know being oral history people or
Mm-hmm.
talking heads in a documentary for shit I'm living through right now that
Right.
I will have to explain out to potentially one day little people or even
I
just my
know.
nieces and nephews, where they're going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
explain to me what happened the year I was
Yeah.
born. And I'm going to be like, the year you were born, we were snatching people off the street.
This was kind of going on for a
For
long
yeah, and I'm
time.
like, because a thing called J6 happened, and they're gonna be like, what? And I'm be like, okay, so let me back up some more. It's like it's just so fascinating when you're like, to now be living in history as somebody who grew up with history
Yeah,
present.
yeah.
Yeah, like I've
You
like
have
I've
more
always
of
been
it.
yeah, I've always been aware of how condensed human history
Yes.
is,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm just like, oh no, I'm in it. Oh God, I'm in it right now. I'm in
You can
somebody's
feel
AP
it.
exam. Yeah.
If you are someone, and I am newer to it, but if you are someone who has some context of the last 500
Yeah.
years, more too,
Yeah.
but if you have some context, you're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
one of those things where like it's
I'm
reminding me of
telling
the
you.
book, like
Yeah.
how many years from now? What is it?
Oh
Everyone
yeah,
who's gonna
cause
have been
yeah,
against
cause that
this.
was like yeah, everybody should, yeah, that was a great
It's like
release last
that
year.
feeling where
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna eventually be in a part where some of these crazy
Yeah.
people, I'm gonna be like, yeah, now you even understand you were
Or I
crazy.
think if like again in a release of last year before we get into the ones for this year, it's
Mm-hmm.
like when I think about the Gods of New York. here you are
Mm-hmm.
reading this book. They're talking about like a young upstart, attorney general named Rudy Giuliani,
I
a
know.
young real
Rudolph is
estate
what they said at first. I
Rudolph.
was
Yeah,
like,
they're like a young
Rudolph.
real estate mogul learning from his father Fred, named Donald Trump. It's like
You're like,
I also am really deeply fascinated by like hopefully we learn our lesson, but like this idea that if one day my kids are like, "Oh, that's Jake Paul,
mm.
the senator," and I'm like, "Let me tell you
Oh,
where
God.
like but the idea that I could hand them a
Yes.
book about 2024 or
Mm-hmm.
no, because the fact that that book is 4 years. So let's pretend like the Gods of New York book is the election, the
Oh,
2024
boy.
election to 2028. The fact that my kid will potentially be reading a book about a Vine star turned YouTuber turned boxer
Mm-hmm.
and will be like, Mom, is this the senator
Yeah.
that they're talking? And I'll be like, okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like
Or they'll be
our
like, or they'll be like,
reality
oh, that,
star
yeah. Or it's like, but
present.
just this, yeah, the idea of like, like, that's why I'm excited. It already came out, but there's a series of books this year coming out about January 6th.
Oh, good.
And I really want to read them because, again, it's like, we lived through it. I
Mm-hmm.
can look on my Instagram right now and see my videos from that day. And
Mm-hmm.
now here we are 5 years later
Yeah.
and being like, wait, and even having friends of mine who read the book and have been
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah, it's crazy. I forgot these details. Like we
Oh,
lived it and I didn't even remember this was a thing that happened.
oh, I know. Because there's so many things. That's the other
Yeah.
thing, which there's something like truly bad every day.
Yeah. But I think to the thing we've talked about before, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is when the artists appear, it's like, I feel like some of the new releases that are coming are a
Mm.
reflection of like what we're living through, where it's like,
Yes.
you're seeing it in, because like, perfect example, I'm super hype for Jennette McCurdy's book, Half His Age.
Me too.
Now, again, last year I read Lolita for the first time,
Mm.
having to have read that, done that in a book club, really broken it down, talked about Humbert, how disgusting his, all this stuff. And then to learn that like Jeffrey Epstein collected first editions of Lolita,
Yeah, they were
like,
like all over the
yeah, all
place and
over
the
his place.
pictures.
Like he used the term nymphette non-ironically, all this kind of stuff. It's like, I'm really excited for Half His Age because again, like this is where artists are important. Like we're having a hard time getting people to understand like why you don't want to be 30 dating a 14-year-old.
Right.
And then when you
Or
try to point them
12.
towards Lolita, they're like, "Oh, well, this is like such a long ago book or whatever." Like for some reason they like
Yes.
can't. And so I'm excited for her book. This sounds insane to say. I'm like, we need another Nabokov reminder
Yeah.
of like dating children is gross.
Yes. And I think she is uniquely positioned to write it so well
Yes.
for lots of different
That's what I'm saying.
reasons.
Is I feel like people might be like this is very hyperbolic, but I'm like I feel like she is going to give us the modern Humbert,
I think so.
where you will be looking at this repugnant character through her book and being like, ugh,
Yep.
gross. Because I think what I've heard of the book that I think is actually going to be really clever,
Mm-hmm.
similar to a Lolita, is the fact that like you are looking at the story through the eyes, because Lolita is obviously through the eyes of the actual pedophile, but like this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be through the eyes of like a teen girl. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is going to be necessary because I've heard, and I don't know, it might be this one, but like I've heard one of the critiques a friend of mine who got an ARC said is that
Mm.
she was like, oh, it's like she's just like such a gross, horny teenage girl. And I was like, but isn't that kind of like the chaos that we're also finding in a lot of these stories now about grooming? Like when I think about what grooming really is,
Mm-hmm.
I was about to give an insane example that was going to tarnish one of my heroes, but it's fine. When I think about Kobe Bryant dating his wife,
Mm-hmm.
he met her when she was like 17 on the set of a
Mm-hmm.
music video, and he was like 17 too. But
Oh.
the idea that a 17-year-old girl got cast for this music video, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining that must be a bit of what Jennette is going to kind of tackle. It's like, I've heard Vanessa Bryant say like, "Oh, I thought I was mature enough to handle that set. I thought I was mature enough to handle all of that." And I'm like, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that is going to be a really interesting thing to see if she
Yeah.
plays with. It's like, because I think in these kind of conversations about grooming, which is what the creepos use, is that they're like, she's really mature for her age. And it's like,
Yeah.
and to quote Hilary Duff, it's like with that song she has now, it's like, no, I'm not.
Yes.
No, I'm not. I
Mm-mm.
think I am, but you're the adult in this situation.
Yes, that is
You
still
could very
true.
quickly be like, oh, that's so sweet, honey, but like, you're a child.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's like I love Celine Dion, but when I really drill down
Oh, I
into it,
know.
I'm like, Celine,
I know.
Celine,
It's a little
Celine.
bit like that with Beyonce too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have talked about this many times and it pains me to say it when I
I
do.
know.
But whenever I'm like, guys, Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was like 15 at the
I
Apollo.
know. You're like,
And then you realize, like, when Tina's book, when she's talking about Beyonce as like a
that's
20-year-old, yeah, it's like a
that
young
was what I
girl.
had when I read Matriarch. I was like, oh.
But see, I had clued in pre-matriarch. So Tina
Well,
Knowles
right.
used to have, this
You
is
just
insane.
hear it a little
No,
bit
this is
more.
even crazier. So Tina Knowles had a book when she was the stylist of Destiny's Child
Oh,
about what it
okay.
took to style Destiny's Child. And it was
Okay.
just meant to be like like the way La Roche has his book. It was like Tina Knowles' Guide to Life and Style. And in the book, she has a cornbread and chili recipe. And completely one off in the intro of the recipe, she's like, Jay-Z flies to Houston all the time for this cornbread and chili. And
And you're like,
and now as an adult, I'm just like,
yep.
but again, to what I'm excited to read in Jennette's book, it's
Yeah.
like when you have a very mature child, when you have
Mm-hmm.
a kid that had to grow up really quickly, I can imagine as a parent, you're like, oh, I trust my kid's judgment. I've raised them right. They're smart.
Right.
And then simultaneously, you're also like, that's the part where I'm like, guys, it's okay. You're not being like an overbearing parent. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm really curious to get into, because I think about this a lot as somebody who wants to be a parent, where I'm like, you're not an overbearing parent if you're like, Beyonce, I love you so much,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot. You need to wait a couple years before you go out
Yeah.
with this grown adult man.
Like really adult.
Yeah,
There's
like that.
we all
That's
know, or at least women, I feel like we
yeah.
all know that like there's a huge difference between like 17 and 19.
Yes.
Not to mention like 19 to 25, you're like so much
I'm
different.
not kidding. We were talking about this earlier with the whole not liking water thing. I was a college senior dating a
Mm-hmm.
college freshman who played on the football team. And you want to talk about an age difference? Just
Mm.
that little bit. I said, I'm
Yeah.
talking to a child right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
And then that was when I started being like, when I would have, classmates who were like, or you would hear about guys who were senior year who like were falling hard from a girl from insert whatever high school. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't know what to talk to children about.
Exactly.
I don't have, like, I am 5 years older than my current partner. And even I sometimes have to open a sentence with, I don't know if you're too young to know this. Do you know
Yeah.
what such and such is? And I feel like a cradle robber. And I am well.
She's not. She's
And
not,
he's
guys.
not a child. I met him and he's 32. And I was like, when did you graduate? Oh God. Like sometimes I'll be like, when I was on stage at Miss USA, you were in high school. Wow. Holy crap. Like even so I'm so geeked for this. And I also think her writing is
Oh
so
yeah.
interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
since I'm glad my mom died, felt so non-linear, I'm gonna be curious to see how she does with a narrative that has to follow
Same.
like a linear structure. So yeah, that's like one of my
I
ones I'm
agree.
hyped for. What's one of your
Yeah.
ones?
I'm very excited. I'm gonna see her in Chicago, so I'll post about it,
I'm so
everybody.
jealous.
I know. I'm glad I was able to. Um, okay, so this is one that has a really fun concept that I also think
Oh
you
boy.
will enjoy this as a concept.
Oh great.
It's called Yesteryear by Caro Claire Burke. And the gist of it is a traditional American woman, a beautiful wife and mother who sells her
I already
pioneer
know I'm
life.
sold. You said
I
traditional
know.
American woman. I said say
I
less.
was like, let's not say trad wife, but say trad wife.
You sold me.
I know. So she sells her pioneer lifestyle of raw milk and farm fresh eggs to her millions of social media followers, suddenly awakens cold, filthy, and terrified in the brutal reality of 1805, where she must unravel whether this living nightmare is an elaborate hoax, a twisted reality show, or something far more sinister. Doesn't that just sound amazing?
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Because you know what that gives me too? It's such Pleasantville
Yes.
like vibes because it
Mm-hmm.
is that idea of somebody opining for a time that they're convinced
Uh-huh.
if they lived in it, they would be so much better off. And then
You
getting
can
dropped in it and being like, help. No.
exactly. Yes. Yes. You're like, oh, you think America was great back then? Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go,
Enjoy
go
it.
ahead.
You also the concept makes me think about I'm convinced they got rid of this question after my year, but at Miss USA, like one of their favorite things for the questions, like the cute
Mm-hmm.
little stand-ups to like get to know the contestants, is they used to do if you could get in a time machine and go back to any time, what would it be?
Oh boy.
You know, I've it's so funny when I think about myself and my life that oftentimes I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I just became so outspoken in 2020. And then I start looking at my life and I'm like, no, you've always been this person. I
Yes.
got everybody I could feel everybody's like butt tighten up because I said when they asked the question, I first paused and I went, well, this is a tricky one because I'm black. So we gotta
Good
land
for
this
you.
plane properly. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, she did not just say that. And I think I said, what did I end up saying? I was like the 90s. Because people were like saying stuff like the 1950s, like when people could be so glamorous and all this stuff. I think I said the 90s. I was like, that worked out really well for black folks. And I think then the alternative I gave to that is I initially said like ancient Egypt. And I go, but I got to stay this color. Because if I get any darker, they're making me haul bricks up the pyramid side of the pyramids.
Oh,
And
no.
I just remember every cameraman in that room was like, she's not, is she
Okay.
funny? Oh no. Oh no, this one's got a lot of opinions.
You have to. Someone
You
has
have
to.
to. I love the concept of that. I'm obsessed with that. Okay,
I'm so excited. I think
that
she's
sounds like,
gonna talk
oh,
about a
that
lot of
sounds
different
good. Yeah,
things.
I think she's gonna be able to
Mm-hmm.
put a lot of good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it, but Heather Ann Thompson's book,
Mm.
I'm jumping around, but like I before Kate takes it off the draft board, that is on my list. It is about the title. I'm blanking on the
Fear
title.
and Fury, and then it's the
Yes.
Reagan 80s, the Getz shootings, and the rebirth of white rage.
Yes. That is a book I am dying to read because it is after having to read Gods of New York. There
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of the tumultuous moments racially in New York are around this shooting on the subway and how it
Mm-hmm.
became a larger representation, which, it's almost like we live through those kind of things now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that one moment became so big because for white New Yorkers, it felt like justification of kind of like vigilante justice to protect themselves against black folks. And then black
Mm-hmm.
people were furious in the city because it was like, oh, so now we can go around indiscriminately shooting black people that we decide are suspicious and shouldn't be there. And so I'm like super geeked to read it. And I'm also just hyped to read Heather Ann Thompson this year. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
just, it's really good narrative nonfiction
Yes.
has been like my gateway drug into liking nonfiction. I would say
Yes.
that, and as I call them, like the pop sciencey books, so like Girl on
Mm-hmm.
Girl, like
Yep.
Word Slut. It's like these more kind of like they're not the hardcore Daniel Kahneman kind of books, but like
Mm-mm.
they give you the top line of the subject matter in a fun way. So yeah, I'm hyped
Yes.
to read that book this year too.
Yeah. It's really good, and she's just fun.
Yeah,
So as you
yeah.
guys are listening, her episode will come out like a week after this episode, January
I would also
27th.
props to you because you will get people on this show, myself excluded, who are so impressive that I am like,
Thank
say
you.
what now, Kate? And then you'll be like, oh yeah, like they'll be like, oh, this guy's on the Today Show, and I'm like, Separation of Church and Hate looks like a cool book, and you're like, oh yeah, no, he's coming on the show,
I'm
and
like, I DM'd him.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool, 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 cool. So basically, it's you, Savannah Guthrie, Kelly Clarkson, like you guys are the only people talking to him. Cool,
Oh
got
my
it,
gosh.
great.
Some of them, but yes, I just, I will send a DM. I will send it.
Listen.
And actually, with hers, I got it on NetGalley and I tagged her in a post, and she was like so grateful. And I was like, "You want to come talk about it?" And she was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like,
But
"Yeah."
to our point of like authors, especially
Mm-hmm.
nonfiction ones, being these like neurodivergent weirdos that
Yeah.
hyperfixate, like they always seem so surprised when you
Yeah.
want to talk to them about their hyperfixation. Basically, they're like,
Yes.
other people care about, and you're like, babes, not only do people care, you have
Yeah.
won the Pulitzer Prize,
Right.
honey.
I know.
Never has a hyperfixation taken somebody so far.
Right. I
You wrote
know.
it out, and we all basically collectively went, "Oh, so tell me about it."
Tell me
It's
about it.
insane.
Tell me everything you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they are like they're different kinds of interviews, kind of because of what you said. It's like they just get to geek out talking about something they were
Yeah.
hyper fixated on.
Yeah.
And as both an introvert and then also neurodivergent, I
Yeah.
vibe with that. Like if someone else
Yeah.
is excited, I'm like, oh, okay. No small talk. You're just gonna teach me things. Go on.
Truly. Yeah. Like you said, they're just going to deep dive into immediate. So he shot this
Mhm.
kid, and you're like, yes.
And he
There's
was
no
sitting
preamble.
down.
We're just getting right into your weird thing you like, and you're giving me all the details, unnecessary
Yes.
ones, necessary ones.
Yeah. Yeah. There will be a lot. There's definitely gonna be more nonfiction
Yeah.
on here this
I
year.
do too. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a heavy nonfiction year. I feel like, if
Mm-hmm.
anything, for me at least, like, yes, there's literary fiction, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's going to be a lot of genre fiction for me this
It's
year.
so fun to have
Because I'm
both.
just like, yeah, because I'm like, I know I'm going to get into heavy, deep topics, and I want to read more
Yes.
classics this year. And I'm like, so then I kind of just want to read like book where wife murders husband,
Right.
runs from cops, doesn't
I
get
have
caught.
lots of those.
Yeah, jumps on
If
train
you
at end of book and is like, goodbye,
Yes.
coppers. Like, that's basically,
Yes.
seriously what
You
I need.
always need a good for her thriller
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, you
mix.
always need one like amid the heaviness of learning about history.
Yes.
I need one good for her. I
Yeah.
always like to have one in terms of black authors, like, that's what
Mm-hmm.
I thought. Yeah. Kind of
Yes.
book. And then
Yes.
like and then one more in there that just either satisfies both of those simultaneously, or kind of like,
Mm.
nah, everybody sucks. I like one of those genre fictions where you're like, I'm rooting for nobody.
Yes. Every
And
now
then
and
at
then
the
those are
end, when
fun.
anybody dies or they all survive, you're like, okay, well,
Mm.
hope you
Yeah,
guys carry on with your lives.
I tend to have like a nonfiction and a fiction, and typically I'm listening to the nonfiction and
Yeah.
reading the fiction, but it's not a hard and
Yeah.
fast rule. But yeah, sometimes you just need variety.
Yeah.
That is one of those things where like it wasn't until I started listening to audiobooks that I was like, oh, I really can I can have multiple books
Yeah.
open. And I'm like, that was like one of my things that like I was just always like, no, I read until this is finished. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where, like, I didn't have to. I just made
No,
that
truly,
up.
you're like, oh, wait. So, like, there were other choices here? I didn't have to.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, 3 books at the same time right now on Goodreads. I look chaotic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you don't.
Yeah. No. Meanwhile, yeah, I used to think that too. I'm like, when people log onto my Goodreads, they must be like, she's reading 5 books at once. I'm like, I'm not, though, but
Mm-hmm. I
I
just
get what
haven't
you're
finished
saying. Yeah.
some. Yeah. Well, since you were talking about the kind of like, that's what I'm realizing. Social studies is what it is
Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah,
like
it is.
in
This is the year
history
of
and
social
social
studies.
studies.
Yeah.
But there is this book coming out called, oh, where did it go? Called Screen People. Who does it say it's by? I forgot to pull the author's name. Screen People by Megan Garber. And the short version, Screen People argues that in a media saturated age, we've been trained to experience real life as entertainment, casting politicians, strangers, and even ourselves as characters in an endless show. By tracing how spectacle reshapes our culture, politics, and empathy, Megan Garber reveals how this obsession with diversion fuels mistrust and misinformation, and why
Ooh.
reclaiming reality is an urgent act of resistance. I was
Mm.
like, sign me up. I
No,
need to hear all of this.
everything about this is, I mean, because I work in social media, so it's like I
Yes.
love, and people are always so shocked. I love anything that's a critique of social media and our lack of
Yes.
attention,
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay, that's a good one.
I had
Damn.
just got an email about that one. Like NetGalley sent out, like, check out these nonfiction. And I was like, oh, that one does sound good. So I
Yeah,
like just added that one to my list.
damn, good
I
pick, good
know.
pick. Damn you.
Thanks.
I would say another one for me, and honestly, Rasheed Newson is my dude.
Mm.
He is amazing. He has a new book coming out this year. It's called "There's Only One Sin in Hollywood,"
Hmm.
and so that one is for people that don't know. He wrote "My Government Means to Kill Me." Again, going back to the Gods of New York. Like I like to say, it's the exact same time period, but it's like a gay black Forrest Gump, where you're
Hmm.
like meeting all these characters through him. But this one is following a backlot fixer's daring investigation into suspicious death of a closeted black actor within the glamorous world of Hollywood. From best-selling author of My Government Means to Kill Me, C. Barlow, one of Hollywood's young black stars, taking the industry by storm in the late 1950s, is Skyline Studios' ambitious attempt to rival Sidney Poitier's success. So, like, literally, we're getting like a fictitious Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte type
Yes.
character, and he's closeted. And I'm obsessed because they talk about like years later, when Xavier dies at the height of his fame, Aaron Toussaint, Skyline's designated backlot fixer who helps the studio stars stay as deep in the closet as humanly possible, is ready to expose the powerful culprits responsible for his untimely death. Like, this sounds
Sounds so
spectacular.
good.
It sounds so good
Yeah.
because I already know like the cast of characters we're going to interact with
Uh-huh.
is going to be really fascinating because there's such a complicated relationship, I feel like, for folks with Poitier and Belafonte, where it's like,
Hmm.
yes, they were these activists, but they were very mean in how they spoke about like black women. Because like I've heard Lena Horne and Eartha Kitt and all these people talk about how like horrible they were to them.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to be curious to see too if like the character starts like, because I can only imagine if the character is closeted, how he's
Yeah.
also observing the behavior of those around him, where it's like, oh, they get to do this out loud and I
Yes.
can't do that, you know. And it's like, so I just can't wait. And I just think Rasheed Newsom is such a good writer and so
I
fun and
agree.
so like authentically himself
Hmm.
in a way that it's like enjoyable to watch also as a fan of his.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one sounds very fun. I think I have it on NetGalley. I can't
you probably
remember.
do.
I know
You
I
probably
requested it, but you never know. I don't always get all of them.
do. Yeah.
But yeah, that one is on my list too. Hey, bud.
Yeah, Yesteryear sounds like I'm still stuck on that. I'm like,
I
Yesteryear
know
sounds like
that
that girl.
one's just sounds amazing. Well, I might blow your mind again with this one because this one is giving me Severance vibes. It's
Oh, you
called
know I'm obsessed with Severance
I
now.
know. It's called Sublimation by Isabel J. Kim. This is like the short version. When immigrants cross a border, their lives split in two. One self moves forward, the other remains behind. And for So-young Rose Kang, that fracture resurfaces when she's called back to Korea after her grandfather's death. What begins as a reckoning with the life she left behind turns into a chilling confrontation as her other self plans to take her body and claim the future Rose thought was hers alone.
So basically, a really wild immigrant version of us.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
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 Very much
But
so.
again, like
That's
all of these themes feel so emblematic because when you think
mm-hmm.
about how long it takes an author, it's anywhere from like, you know,
Yes.
2, 3 years. It's like, okay, where were we 2 years ago? People
And
thought we were
sometimes
at.
it's like 5 years
That's what I'm saying. It's like
if
when I
they have
really
to
think
scout an
about it.
agent.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when I think about it. Yeah, when I think about Yesteryear, it's like at any point over the last few years, she
Mm-hmm.
could have been inspired to write that. And it's kind of like, but now it really hits.
Yes.
Or the same thing with this book. It's like when I hear the concept, I'm like, oh, all we're talking about is immigration. We're talking about good immigrants versus bad immigrants. Like, here is
Uh-huh.
somebody
And like
battling.
fractured identities. Like
So
there's a
here's going to
lot
be
you could do
somebody
there.
battling her two selves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so dope.
I think that one is April. I think it's kind of far out.
I
But
know.
that's
When some
okay.
of them are like
June.
super far away, I'm like, well, I hate this.
Yeah. June, but
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that one.
My other one, and I personally think it's probably gonna make the Booker list.
Mm.
Um, it is Vigil by George Sanders. So
Yes.
yeah, the same dude that wrote Lincoln and the Bardo, which I have not read. It's on my list.
No, me
Um,
too.
yeah, it is taking place at the bedside of an oil CEO in the twilight hours of his life as he is ferried from this world to the next. Not for the first time, Jill Doll Blaine finds himself hurtling towards Earth, reconstituting as she falls right down to her favorite black pumps. She plummets towards her newest charge, yet another soul she must usher into the afterlife, and lands headfirst in the circular drive of his ornate mansion. But like, I will let people read it. It's a hell of a description. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, I I have such a obsession with Charles Dickens' A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
I am obsessed with the concept of ghosts, angels, whomever, coming to visit people who need
Mm-hmm.
to be put on the right path. I think that stuff is so funny. It's like the preacher's
Yeah.
wife to me. I'm like, and so I'm just excited for this because I just anticipate, because of the idea of somebody kind of coming down to help ferry the dead. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they talk about in the description, it's like she soon discovers this isn't like the powerful KJ Boone who will not be consoled because he's nothing to regret. He's lived a big, bold life and the world is better for it, isn't it? Vigil transports us careening through the wild final evening of an epic, complicated life. And I think, as we're all sometimes waiting for the big, beautiful announcement, I often think now, and I think only because I've also been dealing with like the health of my dad, is like this
Right.
concept of what we talked about, like looking at your life
Mm-hmm.
and having a movie worth watching, like being
Yeah.
okay with what you see.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I'm like, I just like that conversation. I like
Yes.
sitting with characters, be they good or bad, and watching
Mm-hmm.
them reflect on their actions with like a sign from heaven, walking them
Yes.
through what they should take away from how they showed
Mm-hmm.
up on Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And to your point of things being written and coming out, it's an oil executive.
Like literally, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm sure George Sanders was like, I knocked it out of the park with Lincoln and the Bardo. And then
Yeah.
eventually like got the visitation for this concept and
Mm-hmm.
then wrote it. And now it's like, uh-oh, is that
He didn't
oil
know
tycoon? Like,
Venezuela
yeah,
was
it's like
gonna
you didn't
happen.
know. Like, I'm sure there's gonna be conversations in this about like it's easier for a rich man to get into heaven than a camel to fit through the eye. Like, I'm sure that's
Mm-hmm.
coming. And it's like I'm so geeked for this one.
Yeah. My friend Hallie is too, and she shared this story that when she was, I think she was in her MBA MFA program.
Okay.
She had read Lincoln in the Bardo and he like came through. And she like went through the signing line and literally was so starstruck that she was like, "Oh my God, I know you're married, but like if you weren't, I would be like smothering my like putting my like
I no,
throwing myself at
I
you."
don't
And
blame. Listen, I'm that way about Adam Higginbotham, and this is an
I
old
know, and
British man.
I thought about that when you brought up that story.
Yeah, it's one of those. That's the first time with him as an author where it hit me like how group like with your friend. I'm like, oh, I get how groupies exist.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
because right now my delusional brain is like, if I could put my mouth on his mouth, if I could kiss his face,
That's how she felt.
I could absorb his knowledge through
Yes.
through my skin. If I could
Mm-hmm.
just lay on a pillow next to him and talk to him till the
Yes.
sun comes up, I will be smarter for it. And I'm like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
now see how you had like groupies for like Aristotle. And I'm like, it's not that
Yes.
you're hot, bro. It's that I'm like, I love your brain. I'm like, I'm having a very Remick moment where I'm like, I just want inside your
Oh,
brain and I want to
yes.
scoop it out. And the best way I can
Yes.
think to do that is I'm gonna cradle you like a baby till you fall asleep. While you tell me everything you know and how you know it.
We love authors over here,
We
guys.
do. I tell you, when authors are like, people care, I'm like, babes,
Yes, we
let me tell
do.
you who cares. I'm like, there's a
Mm-hmm.
handful of people in this life that if they walked through my front door right now, it would
Yeah.
send me into a conniption.
Mm-hmm.
And I would leave my partner, Harrison Ford,
Mm.
full stop.
I get it.
Yeah. At any age, whenever people are like, when he was young, no, today. You
Yeah,
think
he's
I have
fine today.
at all points. Like Callista Flockhart better be happy I can't find her and I don't know how to fight. Jason Mantzoukas,
Why do I not know that one?
he's from How Did This Get Made? He played Derek on The Good
Oh,
Place.
okay. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love
I
him. Yep.
once said this to a random stranger and they were like, didn't see that coming because I was like, I'd leave my boyfriend
It
for
did
him. And they were like,
surprise me
yeah, yeah.
a little bit, but I get it.
This one makes no surprise because again, these are all my Remick. Like I just went inside your brain. Ryan Coogler.
Oh, totally. I
Actually,
get
it's a
that.
three. It's a threesome. It's Ryan Coogler, his wife Zenzi, and and the music composer. I'm
Mm.
like, I would leave.
Ludwig.
Yeah, I would Ludwig. Yeah, I would
Mm-hmm.
leave my partner to go start a polycule with them,
With
and
them.
then the last one is Adam Higginbotham. If he walked in this door and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hello," I'd be like, oh, "You love me. I should go with you."
We're best
Yeah,
friends.
and then weirdly, it's not. I don't love him the same way I love Adam Higginbotham, but
Mm-hmm.
after our conversation and now being mutuals with him, again, thanks to Kate for making me cool, is Sibo Campbell.
Yeah.
He's not, I don't want to marry him, but I want him to let me be his best friend.
I know. I want it because, like, we were talking about his, like, he even, like, designs hotel brands. Like,
That's
he
what I'm
was just talking
saying.
about everything he does. And I'm like, I just want to, like,
Yeah.
hear about your
Yeah.
creative
I
vision.
just want him to FaceTime me like while he's at work. Like I just want
Yeah.
to be that close where he's like, "Hey, what do you think of this chaise
Yes.
lounge?" And I'm like, I'm glad you
Yeah.
appreciate my like. I just want Sibo to care about my opinion.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, like if he asked me for like a little piece of advice or what I thought about
You'd be
something,
like, oh my
I'd be
God.
like, my taste is
Me?
so high. I'm not kidding. I had a post online that
Uh-huh.
all of the cool Hadid sisters liked,
Oh, yeah.
and I said, fame is going to change me immediately
It's going to.
because yeah, and I said because if I'm friends with Alana Hadid and
Mm-hmm.
Bella, I'm never talking to the rest. I'm not talking to normal people anymore. I'm too cool. I'm not. I'm changing my number. And when people are like, I haven't been able to reach you, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I've just been
So big.
famous.
I'm like, me and Alana, we were talking about socio-political issues, and then Sibo Campbell had to FaceTime me to ask me if I thought this was the right shade of green for this hotel, and I was like, oh, everybody leave me alone. So yeah,
Yes. I get it. I
yeah,
mean, the other thing too, something as big as fame, it would be weird if it didn't change you.
right.
Like,
Wouldn't
it's
that
going to
be
change you
that would
somehow.
actually be concerning if it didn't.
Yes.
Like it would be
Yeah.
a little like, are you good?
Yes,
Why are
exactly.
you still
Like,
acting the exact same way and doing all the same stuff?
yes, something
Yeah,
you would kind of want some things to change,
yeah, absolutely.
which is okay.
There we go. Oh wait, I'm up next. Okay.
Oh no,
My
you did
next.
Vigil. I
Oh,
think
I
I'm
did.
up
Yeah, I did
next.
Vigil.
I
You're
just looked
next.
at
You're next.
my
Yep.
notes. Okay, so my other one is called Japanese Gothic. So it about fleeing a violent act he can't remember. Lee Turner escapes to his father's isolated house in Japan, only to find it warped by eerie rules, impossible apparitions, and a presence that refuses to stay buried. Twinned with the story of a disgraced samurai in 1877 haunted by war, loyalty, and prophecy, the novel binds past and present in a chilling puzzle where one life is a ghost, one is a lie, and the truth beneath the house may destroy them both. Very dramatic.
Wow.
But Gothic tends to be
I
dramatic,
know. I was about to
so
say, you've made me nervous. Now, this might be the first pick you have that I'm like, I don't know. I can't
I
join you on this
know.
journey.
I have leaned into horror in a very different
Here's
way.
the thing. I love horror. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like gothic. I
Gothic,
can't.
yeah. That's
And
slower. But you did like Frankenstein, right?
I did like Frankenstein.
Okay.
I blame it on what's her face that I hate. Oh yeah, Charlotte
Charlotte.
Bronte. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Jane
she can go to
Eyre.
hell. Yeah, I have beef with Jane Eyre till the day I
Yeah.
die.
I don't blame you.
And that's one of those books that I'm like, well, now I'm gonna have to revisit it because I talk so much crap about it
You need to make sure you
that like I
like are
need to
up
make
on
sure
it.
again that I still dislike it. My other one. So I feel like this is the portion where we might have books that the other one's like, you have fun with that because you had
Right?
Mexican Gothic, and my other one is Emma Straub,
Oh, yeah.
American Fantasy. I
Okay.
don't even have to read the log line. It is basically, what would you do? I'm speaking for myself. If I found myself on the Backstreet Boys cruise, and then one of the
Ooh.
Backstreet Boys fell in love with me.
I mean, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So I'm like so hyped. Like this is my like really frothy one that
I
even though
love
it
it.
comes out in yeah, it comes out in April, it is the book that I'm going to get and not read until I am like by
You
a
need
pool
it.
somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like until yeah, like it's gonna be my break glass book. Like I have one of
Mm-hmm.
those every year where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a silly book that when my brain officially taps out
Mm-hmm.
on all of my tomfoolery for the year, I will grab this book and be like,
Yes.
help me, get me out of my reading slump. Give me something silly
Yes.
and
Yes.
fun
Yes.
to
Yes.
like get into. So yeah, that's what this one's going to be for me, for sure.
For me, that one right now is The Martian because
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary was the best audiobook I've ever listened to, and it was like the
Yeah.
third audiobook I listened to, so I got so spoiled.
There you go.
And The Martian is just as good, so I like have it, but I'm like I've got to save that for when I've had like 3 DNFs in a row and don't think I can ever
Same.
like a book
Yeah.
again.
That was for me, that was I read like this really silly literary RPG book called Dungeon Crawl
Oh
Carl.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was for me, where I had hit
Mm-hmm.
like 3 books that I kept starting, couldn't get into, starting, couldn't get into. Like
Yep.
I had reached the point where even Buffalo Hunter was not fun to me. And I was like, you know
It's
what?
heavy.
It's heavy. I said, I gotta clock out of this. And then the other
Yeah.
one too, because knowing how my brain works, end of the year, also, I'm like, I don't want to read anymore. And I'm like,
Oh
I've been
yeah.
doing it. And so that was Girl Dinner for me last year.
Oh yeah. Did you like it? I can't remember if
I
you.
loved that stupid book.
Okay.
I really liked
Cool.
it. It was a weird ride. To your thing
Mm-hmm.
of like the year of sociology,
Mm.
it is more interesting for the conversations the characters are having in their
Yeah.
like academic settings about like womanhood. And I think I
Mm.
finished it around the same time I did the Mar-a-Lago show.
Oh
And so
wow.
the book kept talking about this idea of like like what version of womanhood should we all be performing
Ooh.
to be acceptable to these men. And so then to drop
Mm.
into the show where I'm looking at people that look like the human embodiment of the jigsaw puppet from the Saw movies, and I'm
Yes.
asking myself from the book, like, what version of womanhood are we performing right now? And I'm like,
Yeah.
because I can't put my fingers on what the origin is for any of this being the correct answer. So yeah, that's a backlist for anybody that's like, what was a book you liked from last year? I'm like, Girl
Yeah.
Dinner was a vibe. And so like again, this is gonna be that book for me where I'm like, okay, it's like silly and frothy, but it's gonna make me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yes. You've got to have those.
Yeah,
Well, that girls' dinner is going to be mine now. My like
telling you.
backup. I bet I'll, because especially if I just needed to listen to something.
The
Because
way I would love to describe it to you would give away the
I get
best part
that.
of the book. Yeah.
I get that. So we will
That was
not.
the reason you were like, did you like it? Because my review, I think I even said in my review is like,
Okay.
what I want to call this book to tell y'all why it's so fun
Uh-huh.
would give away what the book is about.
Okay. I get
But
that. I
so
have a
once you
couple of
read it,
those like
then I will
that.
tell you what I've been like affectionately calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be my fun
Okay.
one.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll
Yeah.
probably
You have to
listen
have
to it.
one really fun one.
Oh, so I've read The Bluest Eye by Toni
Oh,
Morrison
yeah.
and Beloveds last year. Whew.
Whew.
And I'm definitely a Toni Morrison fan, but she and Octavia Butler both have so many books
Truly.
and they're both so different. But there's a book that's like a compilation of her what am I trying to think of? Like professors, her
Oh.
what do
Oh, yeah, yeah,
professors
yeah.
deliver? Why can't I think of this word?
Dissertation? Yeah, dissertation.
When
They
you
have to
present
defend.
it to some
Yeah, they have to
people.
defend their dissertation. I know that much. I'm somewhere my brother, if he hears
I
this,
should
is gonna be
probably
like,
just like lectures. That was the
okay, I was
word
about to
I
say, I was
couldn't
like, my
think of.
brother is somewhere screaming because he is a professor. He's like, what are you talking about?
I can't believe I couldn't think of
Yeah, he's like,
it.
do you not know what I do for work? I'm like, I actually don't.
But this book is called Language as Liberation, and it says Toni Morrison investigates Black characters in the American literary canon and the way
Sold.
they shaped the nation's collective unconscious.
Immediately
And
sold.
then you get to read these lectures collected here for the first time is to encounter Morrison, not just the writer, but also the teacher in the most profound and subversive way yet. So that's cool too. But yeah, I love, because one of the nonfictions I really loved was called Scream With Me.
Yeah, you hit me to that book, and I was like, this sounds really
Yes.
fascinating. Where it
And
was an examination of women in horror, I think it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, of course, this is like a genre of book that I like. Like, I love
Yeah.
talking about art or whatever. So then like Toni Morrison doing it about other
That's what I was
characters,
going
I'm
to
like, I'm
say.
on board.
And I think like Toni Morrison's another one that I keep saying, similar to a friend of mine who did all the works of Shakespeare over the course
Mm,
of like 2 years. I keep saying I want to do that with Morrison and August
mm-hmm,
Wilson, is
mm,
read their complete canon in the
yeah.
order it was released.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just read last year God Help the Child, and I was
Mm,
like, and that was like a more current, I think it was the last book she wrote before she passed, and I was kind of like,
yeah.
whoa, this is so different
Gets
than the woman who wrote
close.
The Bluest Eye.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
The Bluest
she's a
Eye
fascinating
is so heavy and
one.
good.
Again, and I'm gonna give you more MacKenzie lore. That is a book my family gave to me when I was like in elementary school. And now in
Oh,
hindsight, I'm like, you all are so confused why I'm
no.
weird.
That's like a high school at least
Yeah.
book.
I don't think I
Oh,
actually even read it. I think the family member gave it to me and I was like, and I started reading it and I was like, I don't think I'm old enough to understand half of what's happening right now.
no. It like opens with rape from her
Yeah.
father.
Well, I realize now too, like the person was just like, Oprah's talking about it. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe you should have read the book first before you handed it
Yeah.
to a child, you
Mm-hmm.
psychos.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Come on, people.
people are so inappropriate. So I have Lady Tremaine. This
Oh,
is,
yeah.
as a Disney adult,
I bet.
I, so I went through a real period where I was obsessed with Disney smut books.
Oh, yeah.
So blasphemous as a Disney lover to be reading a book about like Jafar and Jasmine falling in love. So I had to step away from the genre of Disney retellings because once I found myself reading a book where, again, I'm going to say it on this show, where Ursula was pegging someone with her tentacles, I
Oh,
said,
we love
I
that
think
here.
we've hit rock bottom. I think the first step is admitting you have a problem. So
Yes.
that was what I said. Let's step away from the genre for quite some time of Disney retellings because at this point, McKenzie, I don't trust your judgment. Because we went from like
You
cute
revoked.
retellings to we really veered into a space that says a lot about you. So I was sent an ARC for Lady Tremaine, and I was like, uh-oh, hope this
Yes.
doesn't awaken anything in me. But I actually am really excited to read it because I know, like, I don't know, I have a real complicated feeling. I think because of where we sit in history right now with these retellings of like evil characters, of finding
Mm,
this like redemption for repugnant people. But what we've talked about, I think people were making these
mm-hmm.
and leaning into them during a time where we didn't have such horrendous real life villains. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to be interested to see like what takes us out of that pendulum swing of like, because right now, I
Yes.
don't know if you heard, like they announced they're going to make like a movie about Gaston.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and people were like, okay, I think Disney, we've gone too far because like it's one thing to give us an origin story, which that movie was spectacular, Mufasa. It's
Mm,
one thing to give us an origin story on like Scar. It's another to show us that like the evil queen wasn't this bad. Same thing, I'm Medusa. It's great to show us like
oh,
that's not Disney, but still it's like telling us how villains
yes.
deserve it. And I found that period was a lot of like redemptive arcs for female villains, which I kind of love,
Correct.
or like femme presenting if we're going to add Scar to the group. But
Yes.
like, and so that's why I'm excited for Lady Tremaine because I think from my perspective, Cinderella's stepmother really doesn't have any redeemable qualities, but I
Yeah.
am curious to see of like, well, yeah, this is a woman who married a man who
Mm-hmm.
died, and now she is raising not just her child, her
Right.
kids, but his kid, and
Yeah.
who knows what she was doing. So I'm interested for that, but that Gaston one is garbage sounding.
This
I'm
is
like,
that
this
we don't
man,
need that.
yeah, this misogynistic weirdo, basically a
Yeah.
red pill dude before it was a thing, does not
Yes.
deserve a story. Like, guys, you might as well just call it the Andrew Tate story and we move
I
on with
know.
our lives.
I know. Yes. Yeah. That's the closest Disney character
Yeah,
for him.
yeah. I'm like, good night. We're good. I don't need any more
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one because like retellings can be interesting
Yeah,
from just because they're retellings sometimes,
yeah,
which coincidentally that one we were talking about Tulsa before,
yeah.
the one that I just it's another Great Gatsby retelling.
There
I'm
you
like
go.
I'm just gonna keep rereading The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's
it
where I
is,
am right
I
now
think it's
too.
anytime you want to talk about the American dream, heavy
You
on the
have to use
quotation
Gatsby.
marks, it is kind
It's
of the
the
way to
only thing.
do it.
And that's where my thing with Disney retellings is, I
Mm,
think the only way to, our thing about everything is bigger than it is. It's like,
mm,
I think Gatsby represents the American dream. I think Disney represents untarnished stories, like
mm,
perfect stories. And I do think anytime you retell those, you recalibrate people's understanding of,
mm.
just because you're told a fantasy story about
Yes.
settlers or Western expansion
Mm-hmm.
or good people or whatever
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it's true. And doesn't
Right.
mean, and also it doesn't mean that in knowing, Lady Tremaine had dreams for herself that she had to give up. It doesn't negate the Cinderella story. It allows you to
Mm-hmm.
sit in the narrative of both. And I think retellings
Mm-hmm.
just make people uncomfortable for that reason, is they take
That's a good
stories we
point.
know and they make you sit with, like, hey, maybe you don't actually know the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you actually were just given a story. I mean, think about the convo around Wicked and Wizard of Oz. How people are
Yes.
like, watching people freak out about, how do I rectify this movie with what I know from Wizard of Oz, and then watching people be like, think of Wizard of Oz as the propaganda film against Elphaba. And I'm like, you guys are stressing people out. You're
Yes.
stressing them out, because having to imagine a beloved
Mm-hmm. Both of
story
those
as the
things.
not right story
Mm-hmm.
is too much. It's too much for some people.
It is. And I have to shout out a book that I've talked about a lot this year, but it's called And Then She Fell by Alicia Elliott. But the brilliance of it is in the first chapter, she's a Mohawk woman who like just had her first kid.
Yeah,
But she's like watching the TV and like Pocahontas is on the Disney version.
there you
And
go.
then Pocahontas steps out of the TV because this is also horror and
Yeah,
starts telling her what actually happened. And it's
yep,
like, I'm like, this is the perfect way to start a like magical
yeah.
realism, slightly horror book. And then
That is
like
really good.
also incorporate like a retelling. Like, yeah, it's a fantastic book. So
So
I
good.
had to.
That sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
Yep.
yeah,
I
I think I will probably read Lady Tremaine at some point too.
You should. That way we can talk about it and have a whole
Yeah.
Disney day.
Yeah. One that doesn't even have a synopsis up yet, but I had to mention it is Deadbeat by Lee Bardugo
Oh,
because
yeah.
it is the third in the Alex Stern
That
series. I
is
think it's
such
called
a
Alex Stern
Yeah,
series.
it's the Alex turn, because it started with Hellbent.
Hell Hellbent's the second one.
Yeah,
It's
Hellbent's the second.
Ninth House.
There you
Ninth
go. Ninth
House.
House. Yep.
And those are to this day, you
So
could
fun.
have heard me gushing about them for 3 years because I never stop.
Yeah.
They're so good. The way that it's dark academia and like
Right?
dark magic
Yeah.
and mystery, even as well. Like, there are so many things. And I just love it so much. And I think it's been 3 years since
See,
Hellbent.
so because I know how long it takes her to write stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I've only read Ninth House.
I
I
remember
own
you saying
Hellbent.
that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy the third, but when it hit me of how long she was waiting, I
Yes.
said, you know what? I'm
I
not
don't
playing this game
blame
with
you.
you. Yeah, I said, I'm gonna forget all of this. I said, so what I'm gonna do instead, ma'am, Lee, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna wait for the other book to be about a month out. And then I'm gonna
Yeah.
read the other two books. And then I will
Yes.
buy the third and be ready. Because otherwise, like, again, crazy
It
things,
does
my partner.
suck.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing. Like, my partner loves Dungeon Crawl Carl, a couple years
Mm-hmm.
between books. And every time a new one gets released, he will read the entire series all over again.
Every time.
Every time.
Wow.
And when he was doing it, I said, so what were you out here? Rereading the Harry Potter series every single time a new book was released? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I said,
Oh,
what? What?
oh.
So you
I
mean there were
used to
nine
do
books?
that with TV shows.
Truly. So in my head, I was like, oh my God, you were one, one, two, one, two, three, one, two,
This
three, four.
is this is why series stress me out a little bit too. I
Yeah.
don't actually read too many series
Well,
because it's
this is my anger now
difficult.
about all that is Apple TV, is that
Yeah.
I listened to all you dum-dums, got obsessed with Severance, got so obsessed with Severance, I started driving myself a little insane. And now I'm pissed because I watched the damn show and now
I
I gotta wait
know.
like 800 years.
So long. 2027.
Because now as somebody who's watched it, guys, I'm sorry I've hijacked this and made this a Severance rewatch pod.
Oh, you
But
should have seen me when I was
but when I
watching
think
it.
about season one, when I watched
Hmm.
those seasons, when I now think in my head that you all watched them get in the elevator, you watched Homeboy split the switch, and then like 3 years passed before you got to know what
Yes.
happened.
And not many of us watched it.
And then for it to open with them going back to the severed floor
Mm-hmm.
3 years later, I was like, I would have lost my mind and been like, so you mean
Mm-hmm.
to tell me all of it happened and we didn't get to see it?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
gonna lose it. Anyway, I have one last book to throw in the
Mm-hmm.
mix because so a lot of people hate that book, that movie that was Sandra Bullock and Bradley Cooper, where she is the crossword puzzle lady. Remember it like won her a Razzie. It was I cannot remember the name.
Oh.
It is such a it's one of those movies that's really bad that I find to be delightful. But this book, when I had heard about it, sounds like that movie, but in literary form. It's called A Good Person,
Okay.
and it's Gone Girl meets Big Swiss in this
Okay.
eclectic binge of a debut about a millennial antihero who seeks revenge on her ex-situationship with a hex only for him to actually literally die. And it just reminds me it was the movie was
All
called
about
I Love
Steve.
Yes, all about Steve. She falls in love. She goes one date with this character. She tries to hook up with him. It's failed. It's like her first date in forever. And because she is the lady who makes the crosswords in the town,
Mm-hmm.
she makes the crossword puzzle the next day all about Steve.
I see.
And then she
I
gets
see the tenor.
fired and then proceeds to go on like a journey to find Steve because she's like, no, I think we actually really hit it off. And like
Right.
the whole movie is this chaotic film. And so like the first time I heard about A Good Person, it's by Kristen King. It sounded to me like all about Steve, but
Yeah.
with death. And I was like, sign me up.
That
It's
does
like,
sound really
yeah.
fun.
So I was like, yes, please, absolutely. So yeah, that is my last like what I'm like of new releases that I'm like super excited for in the new
Yeah.
year. And then obviously I'm trying to like read through these classics. Um, I'm such a deep hater of the Bronte sisters that I will be reading Wuthering Heights this year so that I can
Oh.
go to the film and then tell everybody why both the book and the movies. That's what I
Yeah.
did for Housemaid.
Uh,
I read
See, I
Housemaid.
was too sick, but
Yeah.
like, I didn't think I could care
I
to
read
see it
it
in
in
theaters.
basically 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then
I
I
read the
found
book.
myself with some free time on
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Eve because I posted
Nice.
about how much I hated the book.
Yeah.
And this person was like, well, the movie was better. I said, hold please. And I got up and left my house. I put a bra on so
Oh.
that I could go prove a point
Oh.
and sat through a
Painful.
horrible film just so I could send a DM that said, just left the movie, can confirm even
It's
worse than the
bad.
book. Yeah,
Every clip I saw looked so
it's so
bad, so I
bad.
couldn't bring myself to
Yeah.
go.
So that's basically what I plan on doing to Emerald Fennell and whichever brought because here's you should have seen my face. You want to talk about silly shit. They're like, Wuthering Heights is being made into a movie because that book that came out last year about the figure skaters. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I will never and people kept saying they were like, it's figure skating Wuthering Heights. I said, I'm not reading that nonsense. And so kept going, kept going. Then they're like, Emerald Fennell is making Wuthering Heights. And I said, all right, have fun, Emerald, whatever. Because people were like, it's so
Yes.
embarrassing. And then when they said it was by T.K. Bronte, I said, wait, there's a third Bronte sister I don't know about that
Yes.
also wrote. And so, yeah, then immediately I was like, well, guess what? Your
Yeah.
number one hater. I am the Kendrick Lamar to the Bronte sisters, Drake. I will make
Yes.
it my mission. Or I always love this concept in Stoicism where they're like, you want to road test your philosophy. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that they say in Stoicism is like, if it takes one question, one comment, one whatever to make the entire foundation, not just the structure crumble, but the foundation of what your philosophy is built on, then you have a poor foundation. Which is why
Mm-hmm.
then to where we started this with like reading banned books, or, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
reading last year, reading Lolita and having people be like, oh, that's a disgusting book. Don't read it. Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If bad men are reading this book and taking this to
And probably
mean,
wrote it. Yeah.
and literally engaging with this book, and their takeaway is, I'm going to go out and steal a child, then I definitely want to read behind enemy lines and understand it.
That's exactly
But
how
I
I
also
feel.
had a childhood best friend who, when we were assigned Catcher in the Rye in high school, she's Andy Young's granddaughter. So again, more context. It's like this girl grew up with like Bernice King and, you know, hearing stories
Right.
about her grandfather with Dr. King. When we got assigned Catcher in the Rye in school, I remember
Uh-huh.
she goes, oh my God, is this going to make me want to shoot the president?
But
And then, but like true critical thinking, a lens of how to think through stuff. I literally was reading, that was one of the books I actually read in school. And I read it the whole time being like, okay, now Taylor says that the guy who read this shot the president. What part of this made him want to shoot the president? And it was like, but it became like this
yeah.
literary scavenger hunt of knowledge where I was like, okay. And then I remember saying to
Yes.
my mom, like, can you show me Taxi Driver? And she's like, what?
Yes.
And I was like, I'm trying to understand what about, and I'm like, then I'm rereading the book being like, okay, how did he see Taxi Driver, read Catcher in the Rye, and then something in Catcher in the Rye made him go, well, shooting the president is going to impress Jodie Foster. Like, it's just, I
So
think
weird.
if I were to tell, people are probably like, that was a weird rant at the end, MacKenzie, but the weird rant is
Mm-mm.
to say, definitely, if nothing else this year, like, try to not read behind enemy lines, but go through the pursuit of trying to figure out like what is it in a banned book. Like if you're going back through old classics, and we talked about like Bluest Eye and
Mm-hmm.
you know Beloved and all this stuff, it's like read it with the thought process of like what knowledge is in here
Mm-hmm.
that made somebody want to ban this book.
Yeah, yeah,
What
that's
is
how
in
I
Animal
feel.
Farm? And like it's like don't even read the trigger warnings, or they're like don't read
Mm-mm.
Animal Farm because it's got you know cursing in it. No, like genuinely read it and be like, what is in this
Mm-hmm.
that someone would want to keep from me?
Oh my gosh. I have a random fact that is very related to this. I read I think it's called The American Bookshop, and then it's like the complete history of
Yes.
bookstores.
Yeah, of
It's like a
bookstores.
really repetitive title, so that's not very helpful, but I'll
I know
link it.
exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, I know it because I'm like, it's like the last owned and operated bookstore. And like, it's the weirdest title that just like eats itself.
Yes, it's very long, but it has like a bookshop as the cover basically. But he like really does talk about the whole journey, like the first libraries in the
Oh my
US
God.
and then bookstores as well. And I also learned the first band booked in general that we really think is Uncle Tom's Cabin.
You know what? And see, and this is why I love a book
And
ban.
you're like,
Guys,
that tells
that
you
tracks.
something.
That
And
tracks.
so there were these librarians who were known for writing their like they had like a it wasn't a librarians, it was like a bookshop in
Yeah.
a like in some kind of carriage behind their horse. And so they had like hidden copies. They would like get them in the South and like bring them to the North so that people could read Uncle Tom's Cabin.
God, that's so good. God,
Isn't that
reading
such a
is
like badass book
I mean,
story?
truly, my thing is like reading is such an act of resistance. And it's like, I would
Yes.
love people to read new releases, but I'm also like, no, but for real though, if you
Do
only have,
both.
yeah, if you only have the capacity to
Mm-hmm.
read one
Yes.
book every other month, make it
Mm-hmm.
banned book, new release that is a perspective that is not yours.
Yep.
Like, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm a cis hetero person, read books by trans authors.
Mm-hmm.
Like read Detransition Baby, read The Lilac People if you like historical. Like I guess my
Woodworking is really good.
yeah
I just listened to that
my
one.
my thing to people at the end of the day, if they're like, oh cool, what should I read? It's like read band stuff, read things that make you step out of your
Mm-hmm.
perspective, like and anything you prefer. There is a book that can hit that for you in
Yeah,
the genre to which you care about. It's like it could be
truly.
thrillers, it could be nonfiction, it could be romance, it could be frothy, you know, lit fic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it could be pop science. It could be like there
Mm-hmm.
is something out there that will make you better for having to have read it. And like, and my
Mm-hmm.
litmus test for like if it is a book worth owning is like if there is no quote no moment, no nothing out of it that you would share with another person,
Mm-hmm.
then it was not a good book.
Yes.
Yeah. But outside of that, it's like really, yeah.
You
Even
still,
if you're
yeah,
like
you gain lots of experiences,
yeah, you
whether
gain
it's
so
fiction
many
or
experiences.
nonfiction.
Yeah. So it's like if you're somebody out there, this is for the conservatives. If you guys like love Peter Sowell, read Double Tax
Mm-hmm.
or Thomas Sowell. Sorry. Isn't that so ironic? We're talking about Uncle Tom's Cabin.
It went right
Do
past me
you know
because
do
of
you know
that.
how quickly I think about that every time with Clarence Thomas? Anyway, I'm not going to go down that thing, but every time I think about this man's got a Tom in his name. Every single one of them. That's been a problem. At some point, you can
Uh-huh.
find Tom in that name. And
Somewhere.
that's when
You
I
can
put
find
my
it somewhere.
that's my tinfoil hat for real. And
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go down that road because then this pod episode will be 3 hours.
Same. I mean, we both couldn't stop ourselves.